What is the indeterminacy of translation? And why does it matter? What you're about to see isn't just an explanation. It's a philosophical capsule. Compact, sharp, and just dangerous enough to leave a mark. Yes, this channel also does that. Not just thought experiments or AI critiques, but actual conceptual troublemaking. The kind that starts by answering and ends by questioning whether the question made any sense in the first place. But don't think you walk away empty-handed while following the troubles of consciousness of a channel trying to create trouble. The concept of translation indeterminacy marks a fertile turning point in modern philosophical provocation, and Quine, arguably the most famous Harvard professor of the 20th century, is a name that might just save you from embarrassment at your fiancé's family dinner, where everyone has, at some point, argued about the meaning of meaning and meant it. So, translation. Sounds simple, right? Well, let's talk about the indeterminacy of it, and why some people, like Quine, think depth is just metaphysical vanity. Let's say you translate a proposition from English into Portuguese. If the translation works, it should preserve what we might call inferential depth. That is, the scope of patterns and generalizations the proposition opens up. It's not just about swapping words. It's about aligning what the sentence can teach, predict, or imply. Imagine you're working with a statistical sample. A proposition in English makes sense of that whole sample. It generalizes it. But if its translation only applies to a subset, then something's off. The translated version now sees less, learns less. It's like predicting the election result based only on one region and thinking it tells the whole story. That's a shallower scope. Now, inferential depth isn't just about data. It's also about consequences. If a proposition in English implies certain things, its translation should imply them too. The worst-case scenario is when the translation flips the meaning entirely. Imagine translating Newton's laws and ending up with something that sounds Aristotelian. That's not a translation. That's a collapse. And this is where Quine steps in, skeptical that translation, in such ambitious terms, is even possible. For him, trying to preserve philosophical depth across languages is like asking a dictionary to perform jazz. You're expecting improvisation, rhythm, and nuance from something designed to enforce numerical structure, freeze usage, and keep things tidy. In other words, you're demanding depth from something built for rigid equivalence. For him, all of that inferential depth is an illusion. Meaning, he says, doesn't run deep. He's an extensionalist. That means what matters is what the sentence refers to, what objects it picks out, not what it suggests or implies beneath the surface. For Quine, scope is just extension. No deep trajectories, no inferential architecture, no superontologies sneaking in under the radar. Trying to preserve that kind of depth in translation? That's metaphysical excess. He sees it as smuggling in categories without identity, a kind of philosophical money laundering. So what do you get instead? Extensional consistency. That's the only bar a translation needs to clear. And because that bar is shallow, just matching outputs over inputs, you end up with multiple valid translations, surface-level alignment, but no clue where the thought wants to go. And that's the real indeterminacy. Not just that there are many ways to say the same thing, but that we flatten meaning to the point where we don't even know which of them thinks better. The inferential future of a proposition, the way it deepens over time, is lost in the shuffle. So, yes, translation is indeterminate. But maybe that's only true if we accept Quine's rules. And maybe the real question is, should we? And here we end. If this helped you survive the kind of dinner table where people casually debate structuralism while passing the wine, then good. The world may pretend to despise philosophy, but it still rewards troubling thought. Not capital P philosophy, mind you. That might scare the hosts. But the lighter, cocktail hour version. Sharp questions with no resolution, tasteful provocations, and just enough cleverness to signal that you had the free time to keep your mind pleasantly otiose, and your hands uncorrupted by peasant work.